Hey guys, this is Alachia, and this is my spoiler review for Sisterhood of the Entangled Marvels, otherwise known as The Marvels. As I said in my non-spoiler review, this film is very, very kid-centric. And I think that one of the things that I find most people who are looking to go in and see an Avengers-type film will come out disappointed because ultimately the story of the Marvels is about sisterhood. And the focus is in on the emotional and personal needs of Monica, Carol, and Kamala. Whereas the larger picture of this universe-ending dilemma is just kind of in the background. The storylines about the Kree and the Skrulls and Nick Fury, they're all just side plots. The heart of the story is about sisterhood. The movie opens up with Dar-Benn, the evil villain, looking for an ancient Kree relic, the Negaband, and she finds one of them, and of course the other one is on Kamala Khan, and she activates a jump portal with it, which then activates the Negaband that Kamala Khan's wearing. When she actually busts a hole through the jump portal or creates a new jump portal, I don't know where those came from. It's not really explained. Almost none of these things are explained in this film. It's not important. Monica and Captain Marvel go to investigate. They touch the portal, and as soon as they do, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan all become quantumly entangled. And every time they use their powers, although it's not consistent, they switch places. And so there's constant body swap. And I did find it kind of odd that they didn't end up swapping with Dar-Benn as well, because you would think that, well, they're all connected, right? So they should all be swapping, but it doesn't matter. That's a shtick that literally goes on for the entire film. I thought it would be good if that was just an introduction as a way that they could actually all find a way to connect to each other and have a reason to get together. And then maybe drop that, they figure out a way to get past that. No, until the very end of the movie, the body swapping thing is how they actually perpetuate all the action in the film. But that, again, not important. The important part is that they get that quantum entanglement, or that entanglement gets them together. And that is the moment that the true plot of this film becomes... comes into fruition. Kamala is like a super fan of Captain Marvel because they had to fictionalize a super fan of Captain Marvel because it doesn't exist in real life. Oh, okay. And so she's dying for acceptance from her parents to become the superhero she's always wanted to be. And she's looking for acceptance from Captain Marvel and wanting that kind of sisterhood and that bond, as a young mentor from a mentee, etc. And so that's what she's constantly looking for. Monica Rambeau is the daughter of Carol Danvers' best friend and also was her kind of adoptive aunt. And Captain Marvel, when she gained her powers, kind of just flew off and just left. And Monica was always expecting her to return. And when her mother got cancer and then she blipped out of existence, she was kind of left alone, had no family. And so Monica Rambeau, she's looking for family connection, some sort of familial connection, that kind of bond you get from being in a family. And then Carol, Captain Marvel, is trying to find acceptance in a world she thinks she messed up. She's trying to come to terms with what she's done and how she's now known as the Annihilator to the Kree, and that she feels like she's done some stuff that she needs to totally fix, and so that she doesn't come home as a monster. Anybody who tells you that this is not the heart and the plot of the Marvels is kidding themselves. That's the true hook of this film, is Monica looking for family connection, Kamala looking for sisterhood, and Carol Danvers looking for redemption in herself and to have people love her and accept her for all the things she has done. That's it. And that's the journey that these characters go on. And at the end of it, what you have is Carol finding that these two other girls loving her and accepting her for what she did, and saying that, you know, she can't be blamed, and that they still love her no matter what. That gives her the comfort she needs, and she enjoys that. She finally accepts the fact that, oh, I am a role model, and I am an aunt, and, you know, I am the leader of this family, and I have to accept that, you know, and that I enjoy that, and I gain joy from that. I know, I'm not kidding. And then Monica Rambeau, she finds the family she's been longing for, right? She finds a sister in Kamala, oh God. And then she finds the aunt in Carol that she's always, you know, been missing. And then, of course, Kamala finds, you know, that sisterhood, that bond that she's been looking for, because she gets her team. Oh, guys, we're a team, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's the beginning and the end of their journey. And that's the only thing that matters. And then Nick Fury's kind of like the cool side uncle, you know, he just has the comedy quips. And then Goose is like the slapstick humor, you know, the cat is just, that's part of the way to go and have kids be entertained, by having this cat swallow people or swallow aliens, and just, you know, everyone in the crowd, the little kids go, yay, it's so funny, right? The rest of it is just filler. It's just filling up the movie. So the side plots here, you have, like, again, the Negaban, they don't explain where those came from. They don't explain the history of that. Maybe it was in Miss Marvel. I didn't watch Miss Marvel. I don't know anything about these bands. I don't know what the rules are with them. I don't know what... I still don't even know how she got her powers. Like Miss Marvel... I guess, sorry, the correct pronunciation according to Lexi is Ms. Marvel. That I don't know anything about her. I don't know where she came from. I don't know how she got her powers. They keep saying she was the hero of Jersey City. I know nothing about that. I don't know anything about her other than the fact that she is able to bend light into physical form. Other than that, don't know anything about her personality. Don't know anything about her connections, her family, her friends. All I know is that her mom and dad are kind of very hovering and very protective of their daughter, and literally they chaperone her for her entire adventure. I was like, wow, she's on a big girl adventure now. You guys are still chaperoning her? Okay. I mean, you know, hey, you know, you got to have parental supervision. I mean, so that, you know, again, the Negabands totally don't know anything about them. They're a set. That's what I know. The Skrulls are in here. They're refugees, and that's about it. They're refugees and they get killed. The Kree are in here as well. And again, their planet is slowly dying, and they're just kind of in the background. Not important, don't know anything about them. There is a whole race or a planet here that's introduced called Aladna, and everyone on this planet, literally, the only way they communicate is through singing. So they have to sing in order to communicate. Otherwise, for some reason, they're so stupid they can't understand a non-musical version of the words coming out of your mouth. I shit you not, this is in the film. Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau and Kamala all arrive on this planet to warn them because Dar-Benn, the evil villain, is coming for their water supply. The planet is like 96% ocean, and she's about to suck that ocean away to her own planet. And they need to warn the people. And Captain Marvel's like, well, I kind of actually know the people on this planet because I'm married to the prince. She's married to a prince. So what does that make her, guys? Can you guess? A princess. Oh, Captain Marvel is a princess. She's a Disney princess. Who saw that coming? So Park Seo-joon, I think he's a very good Korean actor, plays the prince. And he's not very charming. You know, I don't think he's meant to play a character like this. He needs to be kind of a swarmy, very prince-like character, but he plays it very stiff, almost like he's in a Korean drama. And I'm like, wait, you're not in a Korean drama. Like, this is a Disney film, right? So I found his performance very jarring, which is just such a disservice to him because, you know, he's a very good actor. But this was the role he was given. And I'm telling you, they enter this hallway, this palace, kind of a castle, and Captain Marvel then has sprinkles go all around her, and she turns around and voila, just like Sleeping Beauty, she's in a ball gown. They put her in a Disney princess dress and she's a princess. And you're telling me that this isn't marketed towards little girls? Come on, right? And because they are on a planet where the only communication is singing, guess what Disney princess Captain Marvel does? She starts singing. And the thing is, Brie Larson actually has a very good voice, but for some reason, the way that this was performed, I just wasn't very good. So I was like, if you guys are going to really just go there, if you're going to have this civilization, this world where people can only communicate via singing, and you're going to have everyone sing, you're going to have a dance number, go all out. Go full Bollywood. Just go there. If you're going to go there, commit to it. No. It's like half-assed done. It was like the Disney Channel kind of, where people just start breaking out into song and you're just like, ew. I was like, no, you should have just gone there. Just go full on freaking Broadway musical. Nope, it's so lame. It's really lame. The other lame thing is that, unfortunately, Dar-Benn is constantly getting the upper hand. And although the Marvels are going to each of these planets trying to stop this awful thing from happening, they keep failing. So they fail with the Skrull refugees. They fail with, Aladna's, the planet Aladna. And all the while, and now this is kind of going into the action of the film, these three powerful, superheroes are trying to save all these people, and they are failing. They fail to the point where they have to leave hundreds and hundreds of people behind and just go, well, you can't save them all. Oh, well, what kind of superhero does that, right? Can't you just imagine just be like, oh, no, we got to save them all. It's usually the line. That's the line that superheroes usually toe, not like, well, got to save ourselves. Can only save the ones we can save. Too bad. And you're thinking, these are supposed to be badass freaking superheroes. They can't even round up people and get them on a ship to escape. Or, for example, Captain Marvel is so freaking powerful that at the end of the film, she has the power to energize and rehabilitate a sun. But she can't break off a piece of the planet to save people. The inconsistency of power is, you can't even describe it. You can't even do the basic thing that, I think that firefighters and first responders do more to save people on a regular basis than all these three girls. So what the F? Okay, so in terms of the action, I found that very, very disappointing. Again, a lot of the action has to do with the comedy shtick of them body swapping, which after the first couple times they do it, I'm so over it. And I'm bored with it. Plus, it's very inconsistent. Sometimes they're in the middle of doing something and then they are fighting, they switch, and then they're still fighting, but they're not switching again. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, you were, and now you're not. So I guess it just doesn't serve the plot for the second, so you're not switching. I don't know. There's probably some mumbo jumbo explanation as to why that happens. The other thing is that what I found that made this so leaning towards the young female side is that when they are training to figure out how to properly fight with the body swapping, it goes into a montage, a training montage as they usually do. But the montage isn't them training hard or being really coordinating or finding a way to coordinate in a really good way. It's done like a slumber party. It's poppy. It's almost like they're just having a good time and having a nice Friday night, girls' night, and just figuring things out. There's even jump ropes involved. And, at this point, Captain Marvel's hair is in a braid. And it just has that feeling of being kind of like a 13-year-old slumber party instead of serious superheroes trying to do something serious. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. But again, it doesn't appeal to me. I'm sure it appeals to younger girls, right? And it took that tone, and that's the kind of the moment where I realized, oh, this is a film for little girls. This is a film for children. This is a film for very, very, very young children, because Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel aren't adult women superheroes at this point. They're more like tween superheroes, and they act like tween superheroes in the way that they engage with each other, in the way that how they decide to do stuff. It's just very, oh, I just really appreciate that you're here. No, I appreciate you're here. Oh, it's so great that we're together. This is so fun. Isn't this fun? I know I'm female, but there is a level of estrogen in a film where I start to be repelled. And I reached that level, and I was in the movie theater going like, God damn it, I got tricked into watching this film. I would never have gone to see this film if I knew that this is what it was going to be about. I don't like those types of films, right? But I do know an audience that does. I'm just not that audience. So let's talk about the most criminal part of this film, which is Dar-Benn, the evil villain, the worst evil villain of all time. And I am going to put up a comment here that someone left on my review for The Marvels. And it is one of many, many comments regarding the motivations of Dar-Benn that made no sense. And the fact that so many people have brought this up means I'm not the only one, and it's glaringly obvious that what the villain's motivations was, her motivations were just so misguided and made zero sense. This is the type of plot line and evil villain motivation that only a small child would accept, because otherwise it's so freaking stupid. Okay, so Dar-Benn was on planet Hala, and planet Hala was ruled by an AI, the Supreme Intelligence, which Captain Marvel obliterated at the end of her movie. And that led to a civil war. And that civil war then led to the destruction of their planet, or devastation of Hala. I assume a nega bomb went off or something like that. It pretty much killed their sun, it dried their oceans out, and it made their air almost unbreathable. The full blame of this civil war is then placed on Captain Marvel, which, why? Like, she destroyed she destroyed the AI, but the impending doom was their choice, right? They fought and they warred each other to the point where they destroyed their own civilization. I know that she was a part of the cause of that, and she does, there's some blame there. But the ensuing damage that the people decided to inflict upon themselves is not wholly on her, okay? So Dar-Benn is hell-bent on getting a sun to renew their planet. So she needs to steal a sun. She needs to take an ocean, and she needs to take an atmosphere. All right, we're at the tail end of this massive cinematic universe where technology is insane. I mean, incredible. Terraforming doesn't seem out of the question. It's also there's a multitude of planets out there. It's a whole universe, right? We could find you another planet. She, like the comment said, she could have gone to Captain Marvel and been like, hey, you effed us. We're in dire situations because you did this. Whether or not Captain Marvel accepts that blame, she does. That's a whole different story. But I don't think that Captain Marvel, anyone within the galactic, surveillance policing would say, hey, too bad. You guys just gonna have to die out because, you did this thing. Like, no, if all you need to do is take a sun and take some water and get some fresh air from a place, it's a whole freaking universe. We'll find some for you. It's no problem. I can get some for you, right? It's like, no, she's got to go to these planets that are related somehow to Captain Marvel because it'll hurt more. And you're just like, what's your priorities here, Darbin? Okay? Is your priority to save Hala, or is your priority to piss off Captain Marvel? Why would you piss off someone if your goal is to keep your people alive? You're just, that's supremely stupid, right? If you're going to do this, you would do it under the radar. You wouldn't do it in front of the one person you know who could validly try to stop you. That doesn't make any sense. Then let's not even get into the whole ecological absolute fantasy, which is where a planet isn't 100% irreparably damaged when the sun starts to die or there's no ocean left on the planet and the air is unbreathable. You can't just add water and air and a sun and you just, yay, everything's back to normal. At that point, you're not eating anything, all right? There's no more food left. There's no more plants left. There's no more food. There's nothing, right? You would have already had to have left that planet. I mean, unless as an alien species, the Kree are just, they can just survive off of hatred, They're already a dead species at that point. It makes no sense. In addition to the fact that the whole idea of taking water from a different planet, it's like, isn't there a much easier way just to combine, two freaking elements, hydrogen, oxygen, maybe, and create water, as opposed to creating a fucking wormhole through the damn freaking universe in order to take an ocean from one planet to another? Or maybe find a meteorite that is water-based and melt it near your, I don't know. There's so many different things that seem so much easier than what she was trying to do, especially because the way she was trying to approach it has so many ways to fail. And the look of her character, I just did not understand what they were going for, but whatever, that's again, not that important. And so she is trying to take the Earth's sun because her Hala has the sun's dying. She needs to take Earth's sun. And I'm like, well, what if Earth's sun isn't the right size? Won't the gravity of that sun engulf your planet if it's not, if it's, there's a kind of an equilibrium of the way that, the planets all align. And I don't think that you can just take one sun and just siphon it off. Also, what are you siphoning? You siphoning the heat? Don't you need to teleport like the core fusion that's happening into your galaxy? I don't know like what she was thinking. So it's just so strange that this was the plot line, because it's not strange. It totally makes sense in the sense of like how this movie was created and who it was created for, because it is very much a children's like villain, right? That plot line is very childlike in that the absurdity of it is something that I think only little kids would buy. Whereas no adult is going to be like, yeah, that totally makes sense. You just siphon the flames off the sun and then you just have the flames go onto your sun and then it becomes a sun again. What? No. So, and then at the end of it, when of course Darbin gets both of the Nega bracelets, it's too much power for her and she ultimately implodes herself, but not before finally being injured. Again, inconsistency with the power ranges of the superheroes, where you have this all-powerful Captain Marvel, right? She's supposed to be like the most powerful superhero. She can't fight against Darbin. The entire time, she's constantly losing against her. She can't deal one single blow that keeps her down, which makes no sense to me. Look, you saw what she did to Thanos. Like, you can't keep this one chick down, and then you find out at the end that Darbin is not indestructible. She is ultimately, her demise comes from debris. Not Debris Larson, it's Captain Marvel, but literally debris. protrudes into her stomach and cuts her insides. And that's again very kid-like type of end scene, where it's not going to be the actual hero who does physical damage permanent damage to the villain, because that would make them bad. It has to be falling debris. And so, yeah, that was just lame. It's so lame. And then, she implodes herself by putting on the bracers anyway. So you're just like, yeah, so she self-implodes, because you can't have three goody goodies, Disney princesses, destroying the bad guy. That would make them evil. So the bad guy just has to, implode herself. And so then, but that then causes a tear in the fabric of space and time. And the only way to repair that is for them to have Monica Rambeau absorb all of their powers and then use that to sew the fabric of time back together. No, this is really the ending. This is it. And so she's trying to weave the fabric of space and time back together. And as she's doing it, she's like, but I can only do it from this side. And therefore, I'm going to be lost to the other side of space and time. No, I must make this sacrifice. And you're just like, why didn't you just do it on the side that everyone else was on? You're like, no, you got to do it on. It's like, no, because we have to then roll that into the introduction of X-Men. So yeah, so Monica Rambeau gets trapped on the other side of, reality. And she wakes up in a world where Beast and Binary are there. But instead of Binary being Carol Danvers in this universe or this reality, it's actually her mom. And so she's very excited to see her mom, but Binary's looking at her going oh, what are you talking about? You're crazy. This girl's crazy. And then Beast is like, no. So, and then they tease the X-Men. And that's the introduction. Whether or not they go anywhere with that after that, I don't know. I don't really care. At this point, I don't trust Disney to do anything decent. So I kind of don't want them touching the X-Men at this point, right? And then there is another kind of final scene where there is a reenactment of the end credit scene of Iron Man 1. But instead of it being Nick Fury who's recruiting the next Avenger, it's Kamala Khan. She's recruiting Kate Bishop. And then she also says, I heard Ant-Man has a daughter, so it's Cassie Lang. And then, of course, you've got Wiccan and Speed coming up. And then you also have maybe Hulk's son. You might have, Kid Loki. They're setting up a Young Avengers, And again, so I'm saying, you look at that kind of final scene, you're just like, yeah, this is about little tweens. We are now setting up the Disney version of Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is for little kids. So I don't see how you can't look at this film and go, especially look at that ending and look at that setup and not say, this is a film set up for children. This is not a film set up for adults. I don't know many adults would be like, yeah, I just can't wait to see the kid version of all of my favorite, superheroes, right? I don't see that. I think this is marketed towards the next generation. And the generation that I think that Marvel thinks or Disney thinks is the best direction going forward for their fan base, because that's clearly who they have been targeting. So yeah, so that's my spoiler review for Sisterhood of the Entangled Marvels. And I do kind of wonder if it was manipulative of them to think that, hey, the Marvel fan base is so rabid and so insatiable that they will literally eat children's candy and play with children's Play-Doh. And actually, a children's Play-Doh ad ran in the trailers before this film. It was like one of those Play-Doh sets that have that's an ice cream truck or ice cream stand. And I was like, oh yeah, I can, it's clearly, who this film is marketed for when you have a Play-Doh ice cream stand ad running before this film. But yes, I think, when I do think about it, I'd say it is quite manipulative for them to have marketed this to adults when clearly it is a film for children. All right, guys, let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Are you going to see the Marvels? Is this something you would be interested in? Or are you finding it a little frustrating that you can't tell what is what anymore from the MCU? I mean, we have diverged, we have gone full adult, and we have regressed like full Benjamin Button style to like baby now. And I think that's very frustrating for fans. And I agree. It's tough. It's tough for us to have seen something that was so serious and so well done just turn into baby dribble. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And if you'd like to watch more, you can click right here or right here to watch more now. Until next time, see you on the flip side.